What's up, guys? Welcome to another TikTok ad tip. Now, one of the most common questions that I've been getting lately is, hey, Max, I just started TikTok ads, really excited about it, published my ads, and they're not spending, right? I've been running TikTok ads, putting up there, but nothing is spending. I'm just publishing, and I don't know what's wrong. So what I want to do is I put together a list here of basically 6 things that you can check and do. Kind of, the cable company, when you call them, they're like, hey, unplug the router, plug it back in, right? Wanted to give you 6 things to do, hopefully better than the unplug, plug solution. But here's 6 things you can do, test, check. What I found is usually people are missing one of these things, or one of these things is the reason why their ads aren't spending. So let's dive in right here. So number 1 is it's likely that if you're watching this video, you're probably coming into TikTok ads through the self-serve ad platform, right? So that's where the majority of advertisers are coming in. That's like what you do with Facebook and Google, where you just go to the website and you create an ad account, right? With us, we have an agency account, we have a direct managed account, which gives us a lot of different perks and features and all that cool stuff. But that takes it's hard to get. We have a great relationship with them. We've been on the platform for 2 years. Actually, just a little hint here, a little kind of news. It seems like what TikTok's going to be doing in the near future is auto upgrading self-serve to direct accounts once you hit 10K in spend. They're putting a rule in place soon that'll be doing that. But until then, most likely you're on the self-serve plan. Now, self-serve is great because you can just create it, get started, no approval really needed. You don't have to go through any paperwork, anything like that. The challenge though is that anybody can do it. Anybody can create a TikTok account, and that's how you create a self-serve. You can link a TikTok account or you can use an email, but anybody can create a Gmail address, right? So what TikTok is trying to prevent is people kind of committing fraud or breaking the rules, doing black hat stuff where they just burn ad accounts, create new ad accounts, jump on, run $10,000, $20,000 in spend out of the gate day 1, day 2, and they're just breaking a lot of rules. So what TikTok did on the self-serve side is they kind of put this security feature in place. And basically what it does is it kind of creates a time delay for when ads start going live. And this can be anywhere from a day to a few days to a week. I've heard different anecdotal stories from different people that I know on the self-serve side. So if you just created your self-serve account yesterday or today and your ads aren't spending, it is likely because it's a brand new self-serve. It's on the self-serve platform. And TikTok basically is going to just give it a little more time and a little more history before it starts spending. So TikTok is they feel good about the security and they're not breaking the rules and all that good stuff. So that's number 1, okay? Number 2 is, let's say you're 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, 5 weeks in, you're not spending. Try testing a higher funnel objective. So what happens to a lot of people is they treat it like Facebook. They dive into a new TikTok account, no history, no spend, no nothing. And out of the gate, they're running complete payment optimization, conversion campaigns, complete payments, which is TikTok's version of purchase objectives, right? And TikTok is different than Facebook. TikTok really requires the learning phase to exit. It requires a consistent stream of conversion events to really optimize for those events. Unlike Facebook, where it's like day 1, doesn't matter what you're advertising for. You're usually going to spend your money and you can get purchases. With TikTok, if you've driven no purchases, they don't have any kind of benchmark baseline CPA data of what an average purchase cost. So it's likely that your budget is not high enough because it doesn't know where your CPA is. And if the budget to bid, the budget to CPA ratio is not high enough, you just won't spend. That's going to get to another point in just a bit. But try testing something, add to carts, leads, view content, even testing a video view campaign, a page view campaign, a traffic campaign, right? Just to get spend going, just to get some data coming in. I'm not saying spend thousands, $10,000 on these campaigns, on these events, but I'm saying just like day 1, first week, $20, $30 a day on these ad groups for these little objectives, just to get data coming in, okay? Get TikTok some data. So that's 2. Try testing a higher funnel objective, not just purchases out of the gate. Number 3 is a higher budget per ad group. So this goes to my last point where I kind of alluded to this, right? TikTok is not like Facebook, where you can just dupe a bunch of $20 a day ad groups and your CPA is $40, $50, and you can just dupe 100 times and do different scaling stuff like that. It doesn't really work on TikTok because the way TikTok's algorithm looks at it is like, okay, we want our advertisers to exit the learning phase. To exit the learning phase, you need 50 conversion events in a 7-day window per ad group. So if it's optimized for purchases, you need 50 purchases attributed to that ad group in a week to exit learning. So let's say your average CPA, your average cost per purchase is $50 and your budget per ad group is $50. Well, TikTok's going to do the math. The algo is going to do the math and say, hey, if you just perform an average with this ad group, you're going to get 1 purchase a day, which means you're going to get 7 purchases during the learning phase, which means you're not going to come close to exiting the learning phase. So we're just not going to spend your money at all. That's what TikTok does. So if it thinks it can't hit your goals, it thinks it's not going to be competitive in the auction, It's not going to take your money and perform poorly. It's just not going to spend your money. Okay. So you want to start with a higher budget per ad group. And this also goes to the second point, right? If you can't afford to do that math, right? 50 times your average CPA divided by 7, that's not where you can be on a daily budget basis. Go up funnel, because then the cost per action there on a lead or add to cart is going to be a lot less. So you're likely to exit learning phase. Okay. So higher budget. So again, if you're doing $20, $50 a day ad groups, probably because your budget's too low. That's why it's not spending. Number 4, make sure you're using lowest cost instead of cost cap in the bidding, right? So at the bottom of the ad group, where you're going to select your kind of bid type, you want to make sure it's lowest cost, not cost cap, right? If it's cost cap, you're probably going to have a lot of issues early on spending. Even at scale, you're going to have issues because you're going to be constantly adjusting that bid to maximize budget utilization and profitability, okay? So make sure you're using lowest cost. 5, make sure everything's approved, right? Again, this seems obvious, but a lot of people don't do this. Go into every single ad group and go through and make sure every single ad has a green light. It is approved to run. If even one of those ads is yellow, partially approved, or rejected, it can impact the entire ad group. So if you have 6 ads under an ad group and one of those ads gets rejected, it's going to take the entire ad group down. And sometimes, because there's just some bugs and kinks in the system, the ad group might show approved, because technically the ad group's approved, but an ad under it's rejected. So it might look like everything's good to go, campaign's approved, ad group's approved, but because of the rejection, it's not going to spend, okay? So that's another one. So make sure everything is approved at the ad level and ad group level. And then number 6, this is another one that seems obvious, but I've seen people do it. Make sure your schedule is appropriate, right? So make sure when you schedule the start date of the ad group, you didn't schedule it for tomorrow or the next day or miss the date or miss the hour. Maybe you're in a wrong time zone. You're doing for a client in different time zones. Just triple check that. I've seen a few people that just like accidentally set the budget, but set the start date for the ad group tomorrow or next week or set the wrong time. And that's why it's not spending. So there you go. 6 things you can do to troubleshoot your TikTok ads not spending. As always, if you want more TikTok ad tips, make sure to hit the subscribe button right here. Make sure to hit that bell to get all notifications, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.